All right, welcome everybody. It's April 20th. This is our 11th time meeting. We talked about platform support, how there's appetite to gauge the impact of dropping Mac support. So the Pomelo team is looking at sending a survey to our group of devs who participated in Pomelo to gauge their sentiment with a survey and give an update on how we're doing there. We had 2 new engineers join last week. And if I'm not mistaken, the third one joining today, is that right? Or on Monday?
This Monday. Bucky joined. I'm not sure if he's on the call right now. And Brezhnikov also joined this week. So we have inside the ENF now. And we're always looking for more in case you know people and you'd like to make a recommendation.
And we see Sam started a list. We were talking about having a priority list of what's in and what's out from 3.1 and what'll be prioritized for 3.2. I understand there was a meeting to discuss that, so we can get an update on that and we can give an update.
And that's the account is the one that was non-encrypted, whoever's the phone number. It's the alert that we're getting from Zoom.
Okay, I can't see an option to mute anyone.
Who's like gone.
But that's okay. They're gone. Okay, where were we? Test Mandel. Don't know if anyone has any updates there, but yeah, last week we reported that all of the rest of our nodes, except our diffuse nodes, have been upgraded, so we can check in on anything else there. So yeah, I'll start. I'll give my update on the platform support. So it just so happens one of our new hires, EOS Nation on the Pomelo team, our project manager we just hired, Miranda, in a previous life was a professional survey sender. So she's been tasked with looking and diving more into this objective. And there was some initial feedback from the Pomelo team that perhaps the audience will be not quite what we might not get the responses we're expecting. We don't have a narrowly segmented, like only send to smart contract developers, for example. We could send it to everyone who created a grant, which is, a lot of content creators, a lot of maybe devs who aren't actually running nodes. It's actually a pretty small portion of that audience that would be actually smart contract developers. So we're thinking about what the best approach will be. And so that's something Miranda's working on. I should have her recommendations to bring back by the next call.
Maybe we can make a few questions. And one of them, do you run a node at all? What type of node do you run, etc., so that we can, what is your primary job description, content creator, contract developer, front-end developer, back-end developer? Then we can segment the results the way we want, saying out of these types of smart contract developers or back-end developers, this is what they want. Because, you're going to find most content creators are going to say, oh yeah, I want Max. And yet they're not doing
Of course. Yeah. So that's the idea. We were also already planning on doing a survey to kind of Pomelo participants. So one of the approaches might be including it as part of that survey. Miranda is going to dive into the objective, make sure we get what we need. Mandel code strategy. I added a note in here from Matt that he shared in the Telegram chat as part of Mandel 3.1 plans. It's been previously discussed that blocks.log splitting feature is a necessary requirement for the release to be acceptable to the community. Recently, a question arose as to what is the actual requirements necessary for 3.1 related to this feature. In Matthew and a bunch of other devs views, keep all the blocks.log in a single file as per Node EOS 2.1 or 2.0, no change, which starts from the beginning or based on a snapshot. Number 2, keep some recent blocks in one file or optionally more files at the discretion of developers, and remove old blocks with the configured number of blocks passes. This is less features than in 2.1, where it can be split files, move them to archive directory and other things. Or 3, don't store any blocks at all. This is a new feature, not in 2.1. So if anyone has any opinions one way or another, there's a couple GitHub issues open that you can leave them. Feel free to share your thoughts now if you have any too.
Daniel, we're going to hold another meeting at 1:00 next Tuesday to continue to kind of parse through these lists and stuff. Would you feel you'd like to join that? Maybe it was an oversight not inviting you. We're trying to track all these issues in the EOS Network Foundation Mandel repository. And if you have time at that time, it might be good for you to just join and be directly involved.
Sure. Wednesday, what time did you say? Next Wednesday or Tuesday? Okay. Yeah. Yep. I can do that. Okay. All right. We can move on then, unless anyone has any feedback at this time. I'll take that as a no. Where did we go here? Yeah. Any updates you guys can give on so far on what's been discussed? And I understand again the team's already met and has done some prioritizing, if I'm not mistaken. Is there anything to report yet, or should we save that for after we continue?
I think we at least agreed that we were going to start by Matt Witherspoon querying the GitHub via API and creating a spreadsheet of all of the pull requests that had been and issues possibly that had gone into anything that's not in 2.0, past 2.0. And then we'd start to categorize those and eventually remove the cruft from the list, stuff that we know we never will want. We'll just kind of mark it as dead. And then slowly, as we see things that we want, we'll start bringing them into the issues list in the Mandel repo. And then we'll start, we've started to create some labels in the Mandel repo for whether it's targeted for 3.1, which will be very few things other than, block log splitting, whether we want it in, as a 3.2 target, et cetera. So we've started a process. I think you'd be great to add to that process. I think you've a lot more experience than, say, me for that. But we're starting with a kind of a breadth first approach of gathering everything out of, the original repo to see what are potential candidates for 3.1, 3.2, et cetera. And Matt will have that by next week's meeting. So we're also kind of hanging off the wiki in the Mandel repo, some links to things. Kevin Hefner had a file of some PRs and stuff he thought should be looked at and reviewed. So we're kind of collecting lists of lists right now, and then we'll start distilling it down and eventually start tagging them into milestones and different releases, et cetera.
Looking forward to joining next Tuesday. Okay, what else? Do we have anything else on this topic? Yeah, so this is the list where we started from, right? Stan's list, and we're adding to it. And yeah, great. Testing Mandel, I don't have anything to report from EOS Nation's perspective. We still haven't done any upgrades to Diffuse. Still doing the work on that needs to be done to enable that. I'm not sure if anyone else has anything to report in terms of testing Mandel on Jungle.
I just flipped our BP over to it. So assuming it's not missing blocks right now, we should be on 305 and start looking at upgrading the ship nodes and then trying out Hyperion. But I think Crypto Lions has already shifted over. So, but I don't know what feeds it. But our APIs got abused, so you might not be testing them. But they're there.
Okay.
I'll look at opening them back up. Somebody decided to smash 15,000 requests a second to the Jungle nodes like a day after I launched them. So who knows?
Murphy's Law.
Who even knew they were there, but whatever.
But we got EVM now on Jungle 4, right?
I think it might have been before that, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything needed? I mean, are there any worker nodes or, like I know there's some Hyperion history for some of the other EVM solutions, but I hadn't dug much into the current EVM system. Is there anything USA can run and break?
I'm sure there's things you can break.
You can break anything. Kevin attests to that. But I don't know. I think Eve maybe knew a little bit about that, or Zach. I don't remember which one I saw talking about it. But anyway, we're here to run some stuff if correct. The new EVM and getting it up on Jungle. I know it just kind of went live and everything. But anyway, We're here.
Yes, I know that Matthew's planning on testing. I don't know if there's anything related to Mandel that needs to be, is there any Mandel compatibility EVM? Now it's going to be a new environment with EVM. Really, it's just a smart contract. Shouldn't be, I'm guessing, two separate things in my mind, but maybe someone else's.
It's when they're not separate that it burns you. And I'll circle around more on that, but we'll be ready to spin that up. I don't know. Are we ready to try maybe breaking some things on 305, or do we want to wait until some further updates like double signing and things like that, just to see how it is? Because that's what we do on Jungle.
Yeah, I would say, put it through its paces in my view.
I would just put caution. Like if you know something's not in as a fix, don't just break it to break it because you know it's not there. So yes, break it if you don't know it's coming as a fix. But if you know it's already coming as a fix, then it's kind of pointless. You're not bringing new information.
I guess, I'm not even looking. I'm looking at things that we know that have broken in the past, I don't know. I'm like double signing. Like
that's fine.
But yeah.
So just things that weren't included in 3.05, which are being included in 3.1, which you'll break. Don't if you do that, because there is maintenance required for other people to do so. But yes, if it should be fixed, for sure.
Or still working from before. That's more what I'm thinking of how.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, that was what I was thinking. But I don't know if the forks or we're trying to avoid, or are we really ready to try to kick things a little harder, or are we waiting on like a 3.1 or 3.2 before we really run it through some?
Oh no, there's no 3.2. It's 3.1 that's going to be deployed. So you want to break it beforehand? Yes.
Perfect.
Are we happy with the number of VPs we have on here, or should we still be trying to chase to get more? Did Costa Rica end up joining?
I think it's pretty good because we have a few that are running a few, which is actually better because then it makes upgrading a little bit faster. To decentralize a little bit hard for the testing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's call this one. And now it's just a matter of getting VPs, upgrading and testing. Great. What else? Is there anything else that we need to check in on? Either new items or for follow up on some, I guess we're still, not 100% decided on whether Mac support is in or out. I know you guys had somebody on your team joining
Did
that
you
we
work
were
on
going
a
to
web
task
form?
with.
Did you work on a questionnaire for the Pomelo applicants that were approved? So the 145.
Yes. So I don't know if you missed that update at the beginning. Yeah, someone on our team who's working on that. She's actually a professional survey sender. That's what she was previously doing. The audience that we have is not targeted right now to, for example, smart contract developers. So if we just send it to all grant owners, it's going to be mixed results. So we're getting more tailored, exploring how might we respond, more valuable feedback. So it'll probably be a multi-question survey. So that's something that she's working on, a recommendation for us right now on how to proceed and make sure that we don't get just junk answers that aren't actually valuable. I'm expecting to get her recommendations today, actually. Don't have anything on this call, but I can share what I got in the Mandel chat when I have something ready to share. Okay. Anything else to add to the agenda today? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Is there still value in assembling the documentation for Docker on Mac while we're waiting for that answer? And I know that we have pushed that out to April 27th because we just had...
I think we want Docker instructions for both Mac and Windows, and I think it's even okay to make it for Linux as well. Bucky's having internet problems today, and I've asked him to join this call each week. He is the person that will do that. I had kind of forewarned him that it might come up on the call today, and surprised he had internet connection. I'm sure they're unrelated. But so yeah, I think we're still going to do that. He is saying he will take care of that, and normally he'd be on this call to talk about it himself.
Great. We also had Stan made some progress on, so we've been planning from the start to do a survey to, the wider EOS developer community, just like we did for the 1.8 upgrade. Stan has proposed the list of questions, which are essentially just modified versions of the same questions we sent for 1.8. So I asked, would this be maybe an appropriate place to ask that question about Mac support? So I see Stan thinks probably not. This is really targeted to the node operators, whereas our Mac question is more smart contract developers. Unless anyone has any conflicting thoughts, I think we can keep those as separate. I would encourage you guys to have a look. Maybe we can look at it over quickly here. Are these all useful questions to us? And is there anything else we want to be asking? So, pretty basic. What's your DApp? Describe how EOS APIs are used in your project. Do you host your own EOS node? What types of API do you require? What public APIs are you currently using? Which node versions are you using in your own infrastructure? I know 2.1 and Mandel are the options.
Kind of silly, but relevant right now when you talk about APIs. And I don't know if Matthew's on the call. No, I'm adding whether or not they've enabled subjective billing. Because we know that's an issue. And I think that maybe that's the issue with Coinbase right now. Anybody who hasn't applied subjective billing right now is still having the issues. So it might be worthwhile. Maybe just double check with Matthew if he thinks it's worthwhile adding.
For 3.05, I did ask Matthew about that. He was not concerned about 3.05. He was more concerned about the version that was going into 2.0. And he wasn't saying don't add it to 3.05. That's not what he was concerned about. If that was
I mean more so when the people answer this, if they say no, they haven't turned on subjective billing, then we know, and we could do a one by one just to see, are you having issues? Are your nodes performing properly? Oh, maybe you want to turn this on. More so for that. But then I'm not sure it'll still be relevant in 3.1 in the same way that it is right now. So it's more so just for potentially resolving issues that currently exist or that they might be seeing.
Okay. I'll run that question by Matthew, see what he thinks, if it's relevant for this. Stan, are you on the call? I know these are your questions and you had some feedback on my previous suggestion. I guess he's not here, but I'll check with Stan too, make sure that makes sense from his perspective. Randall has already created in their EOS support system, they've created a survey with these questions. They're just waiting for us to give them a thumbs up. They've already collected contacts, I think over 200, something like almost 300 exchanges that they can shoot this survey over to, and we can start getting that feedback.
Good luck to them.
Yeah. I know you guys had fun with that last time. The good news is they've already got email addresses. They've already did the chasing people in Telegram part. That exercise is behind them. So, okay, those are what I had today on the agenda. Anything else? All right. In that case, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining.